Okay, so we're going to talk about, there's two elements. Well, actually, it's always hard to do a lesson on one element because you're almost always using more than one element when you are creating a piece of art, as well as principles of design when you're creating a piece of art. So this is going to be a lesson on line and shape as well as color. And what we're going to do is we're going to create some organic lines that then become organic shapes, okay? Organic lines are lines that you find in nature, so they're curved and natural, and they don't have a lot, they're not like jagged or square, okay? So I want you to do 5 lines, and they just have to touch 2 edges. That's the only rule. They can go any direction you want. It's just that they have to go off 2 different edges of your paper. So there's 1, 2, I'm going to do 5. Try to keep your shapes fairly large just because we're going to end up filling them with color. So we got what, 3? 4, and I'll go all the way over with this one, 5. Okay, so now I have all these different shapes that were created because a shape is when a line intersects and creates an enclosed area. So that's a shape. So what I'm going to do is I want you to fill them with monochromatic or analogous colors. So I'm going to do my first one monochromatic. So I'm just going to start with green, and I want it to be, you can do it kind of, you know, I'll let you do basically whatever you want, but what I was thinking is that you're going to do a variation or a gradation of color. So we're also talking about value, but do darker along the edges, and then you're going to go lighter as you go in, and you can change colors, okay? You don't have to do it with one. You can change to a lighter version of the color you're using, which I'm going to do, but I'm also going to go lighter with this color, and then I'm going to overlap with the second color. Okay, and so I'm going to go with like a light green, and I'm going to overlap it so it doesn't just so then I'm going to switch to a different color. I'm going to do red. Red and green are complements, and so when they sit next to each other, they're going to pop. When they're combined together, they'll create a neutral, which is like a brown or a gray. And we're not going to mix those. We're not going to actually mix or blend those colors on this assignment. It's not wrong, it's just not something we're gonna do. Look, I made a geometric shape on accident. That's okay. It's mostly organic. Okay, so I'm just speeding up the video, and you'll see I'm just going to continue to fill my shapes with either monochromatic or analogous color schemes. And I'm also going to pay attention to the contrast, maybe placing complementary colors next to each other, just to draw your eye in certain areas. Okay, so once you have all of your shapes filled with color, you're going to draw similar shapes in each of the shapes that you created, echoing the original shapes form. So you can see what I'm doing on this blue and violet section. You can either use an ultra fine Sharpie, or you can use a fine Sharpie, which is really kind of a thicker Sharpie, which is what I'm using here. If your Sharpie stops working, just kind of put it on a paper towel or switch markers for a minute, put the lid back on tightly, and it'll kind of re-moisturize itself after a little while. Take your time and do a good job on this part, because this is what really adds repetition and movement to your design and really makes it look cool. So once you've drawn all your repeated shapes, you're done. So take a look and see what you think. This video was created by Sabrina Wingren at A Space to Create Art.